is Johnny Paycheck's old song, "Take This Job and Shove It." That's up at the top of, well, that's actually the title for my op-ed today, "Take This Job and Shove It." Working people in poorly run, wildly infected red states are singing along with Johnny Paycheck with his, his "Take This Job and Shove It." Maybe you can pick up my computer here, Sean, and I can just play a little bit of it. It's just...
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
There you go. And, he goes on about his girlfriend left him and all that, but there's also a line in there where he says, "I've seen a lot of good folks die who had a lot of bills to pay. I'd give the shirt right off my back if I had the guts to say, take this job and shove it." And that's what people are doing all across the United States, is they're saying enough already. But it turns out, and I mentioned this on Monday, I talked about it Monday, there was a great Daily Kos diary about it. And they kind of put it on my radar screen, and then I did a deep dive into NPR and Washington Post and all the reporting on this, and sure enough, it turns out that the people who are quitting their jobs in large numbers are in principally 10 red states. And those red states are the states that have the worst, literally the worst, COVID outcomes. So, just imagine you're living and working in a red state. You're making $7.25 an hour minimum wage, which most of the red states are at. Your employer says you have to work in an environment where right-wing mask holes routinely confront you as sport. On top of that, by their refusing to get vaccinated or wear a mask, they're spreading not only a deadly disease that causes dementia in as many as a third of the people who get it and survive, but also... if you've been paying attention, you know that even if you're vaccinated, the probability of getting a breakthrough infection has more to do with how much virus you're exposed to than whether or not you're exposed to virus. So if some mask hole is yelling at you through a mask and they've got COVID, odds are the mask will stop most of the virus particles and your immune system can knock off the few that get through, particularly if you've been vaccinated. But if they're not wearing a mask and they're yelling and screaming at you, you're going to get overwhelmed by virus, and it'll overwhelm your immune system. That's, these breakthrough infections. So is that worth it? Is it worth going, $7.25 an hour to risk your life, to risk the chance of, getting dementia for the rest of your life? Just for $7.25 an hour? Well, increasingly, people in red states are saying no. And red states, of course, also have no union protection. They're all right to work for less states. What's driving this, and all 26 Republican-controlled states, by the way, cut federal unemployment benefits early. They expired at the end of September, and they cut them off in June and July. All 26 states, these red states, thinking, oh, no more $300 to everybody, as unemployment benefits. That'll get people back to work. Nope, didn't work. There was no increase in employment in any of those 10 states as a consequence of that. Nor was there an increase in employment nationally in September when the unemployment benefits ran out for everybody else. Unemployment benefits had no impact on whether people were looking for work in red states or blue states. It's the virus, stupid. It's the coronavirus. It's the COVID. That's what's going on. But, we've got this Republican talking point, this conservative belief that, now you've got Joe Manchin going out there going, oh, if you don't means test, benefits for children, it's this whole idea that, if you give free money to people, you're going to create laziness. Really? Giving free money to people causes them to become lazy. Okay, fine. Then let's make the inheritance tax 100%. Why would anybody want to inflict laziness on their children, much less a rich person? Why would they want their children to grow up to be lazy? It's just a wild and weird ideology, but the Republicans continue to insist that the way that you get people back into the workforce, the way that you get things done, the way that you regulate the middle class is by kicking people upside the head, is by making life miserable for people. It's by cutting off benefits. We've been hearing this since Ronald Reagan. And Reagan, of course, put a racist spin on it. Those of you old enough will remember when Reagan said, he was talking to a white audience, and he says, I'm paraphrasing from memory here, doesn't it upset you when you're at the supermarket in line behind a young buck, obviously his code for a black man, who is paying for his beer and his steak with food stamps? And of course, all across America, white people are going, oh yeah, that's terrible. Okay, can't have that. This is bizarre, this ideology, and frankly destructive. It's destructive to our society. This is, the bottom line is that Republicans really don't give a rat's ass about working people. They're all about punishing people. And, I think it's really tragic. I think it's just genuinely tragic and needs to be called out. Needs to be called out a lot. This whole mythology and ideology that we've been sold by right-wing billionaires, which, by the way, coincidentally just happens to fit in nicely. They're saying, oh, we shouldn't have unemployment benefits. We shouldn't have food stamps. We shouldn't have welfare for people because it makes them lazy. Fits in perfectly with their, oh, and by the way, you shouldn't raise our taxes to pay for those things.